A lot of men who are successful still find themselves confused about why their relationships don't last. They work hard, they provide, they show up, they try to do the right things, yet somehow the connection still falls apart. And here's the part that catches most people off guard. The same part of you that helped you become successful is the same part of you that holds you back in relationships. And so let me explain what I mean in a very simple way. Now, when you were younger, you learned how to adjust to the people and situations around you. You learned what kept the people calm around you, what kept you out of trouble, and what helped you to feel more in control. And maybe you learned you had to keep your feelings to yourself. Maybe you learned you had to take care of everyone around you. Maybe you learned you had to handle things all alone, which makes sense. Or maybe you learned that the only way to get love was to perform, achieve, or make yourself useful, right? And so those adjustments became habits, and those habits grew into a version of you that knows how to survive, work hard, and show up when the world needs you, right? That part of you, the part that stepped up, did its job. It helped you build your life, right? It helped you succeed. But relationships require something different. Now, in your everyday life, being strong, capable, and composed works in your favor, right? Because people rely on you, people trust you, you get things done. But in a relationship, the other person needs more than what you do. They need who you are, right? They need to feel you. They need to know what's actually happening inside of you. They need to know they can reach you emotionally, not just logistically, right? And this is where a lot of successful men get stuck, not because they don't care, not because they don't try, but because the version of them that learned how to survive doesn't know how to let someone in, which makes sense. Now, here's what this looks like in real life. Maybe you grew up in a home where talking about feelings wasn't an option. Maybe people were unpredictable, or you felt like you had to stay strong to keep everyone else feeling okay, right? So as an adult, when someone tries to get close to you, you shut down without meaning to, a natural body response. And you're not trying to push them away, but you don't know how to let them in without feeling exposed or unprepared. Or maybe you became the responsible one, like me, right, early in life. And so you learned to take on everyone's expectations and you became really good at it, right? But now, when your partner wants to know how you feel, you don't have the language for it, right? You've spent so many years holding everyone and everything together that you never really learned how to let someone hold any with you, right? Or maybe you learned that being useful was the only way to feel valued. So now you try to solve your partner's problems instead of slowing down to connect with them, right? They don't want solutions. They want you. But the part of you that learned to survive, right? It thinks connection is unsafe unless you're fixing something, right? This isn't your fault. These patterns were formed long before you ever dated anyone, but they follow you until they are addressed. Now, this is where my work comes in, right? A lot of men try to fix relationship issues by reading more, working harder, or trying to change their behavior on the surface. But the things I'm talking about don't change from effort alone, right? You can't force yourself to open up if your body doesn't believe it's safe, right? You can't think your way out of emotional habits that were created before you even understood yourself. And You can't build closeness if you're still living from the part of you that only knows how to carry everything alone, right? And so my work helps you understand the version of you that has been running your relationships, right? The younger part of you, it's been protecting, and the patterns you keep repeating without even realizing it. And once you see these patterns clearly, you finally have a real choice, not a forced choice, not a pressured one, but an actual shift in how you show up and connect. And so when that happens, relationships feel different, almost immediately, right? I'm telling you about my life and what I'm actually living. So what life could look like after doing this work. Imagine being able to say what's on your mind without shutting down. Imagine having a conversation about your feelings without feeling weak or feeling exposed. Imagine choosing someone from a grounded place instead of fear, pressure, or loneliness, right? Imagine being able to show up fully, not just as the provider, not just as the responsible man, right? But really as yourself in the multiple parts of yourself, right? And so this is not just about you being emotional or dramatic, right? It's really about becoming honest with yourself in a way that frees you. And so most men have never really experienced that. But once I think they do, their relationships, their life start to feel more open, more stable, and I would say more meaningful. Now, if you don't address these patterns, they don't go away. You keep repeating the same relationship dynamics just with different people. You keep carrying everything alone, becoming more lonely, more empty, and you keep choosing people from the same place you've always chosen them from. And slowly, your relationships become something you expect to break rather than something you learn to really trust. And so you don't deserve that. You don't deserve to feel that way. And you don't have to keep living from the version of yourself that learned how to survive, but never learned how to be close. So if you are successful in your life, but feel stuck in your relationships, if you can feel that something deeper is happening inside of you, but you don't have the words for it, if you are tired of trying to figure it out alone, then this is the work I do with men one-on-one. Now, again, this is not quick fixes. This is not surface level advice. This is real inner work that helps you understand yourself, not just your patterns. And if you're ready for that, you can reach out using the link below, right? You've built a strong life. Now it's time to build a life you can actually feel. Peace, y'all.